Your personality, your character, your competence, your passion is so easy to see the first time that someone meets you.
What an amazing opportunity it is to be your head coach. I view the responsibility that comes with being the head coach here as a privilege. As your head coach, I will represent this university, this program, and this community at the highest level. I promise it will not be a day you'll be cheated with me as your head coach.
So let's give it up for Coach Amir, the first one.
They gave this to me, I'm giving it right back to them, all right? Because without their leadership, without their vision, and believing in what I see and what I saw, we could become here in South Florida, all right? I wouldn't be here. So this ball is you guys.
Just so you know, he gon' cramp with this tempo. This ain't the same old South Florida, my brother, so you better get them electrolytes ready. Bulls Nation, Bulls Nation, Bulls Nation, Bulls Nation.
Get hype! And I hope your day is off to a great start. If it's not about what happens, but how you respond. Thank you for believing in our vision for USF basketball. We talked about Dr. King's message. Dangerous unselfishness. Man, y'all are dangerously unselfish tonight. Man, I'm so proud of you guys, all right? What you're building, right? What you're building, guys, man, is a fortitude that nothing shakes you.
He was the finest human being. He was a great basketball coach, but an even better husband, father, and overall human being. The way he shook your hand and looked you in the eye, that man was all about respect. The way he glowingly spoke about his faith and his family, you knew that this was a guy that was genuine, down to his core.
We're talking about much more than a basketball coach. To me, we're talking about a guy that found a way to kind of unite an entire campus, to connect with the whole Tampa Bay sporting community. He just brought a kind of magic to us.
To God be the glory, guys. To God be the glory, okay? Because only He can give us that type of dangerous unselfishness that's been built this year. Guys, you history makers. The first time it's ever been done, guys. Ever. Somebody that done wore that jersey before you. Somebody that cared about this program. People that care about this university. You guys have given them a sense of pride again, man. That's what it's about. All right? But I'm telling you, the biggest thing you've done, man, you have created a lifelong bond amongst each other. Yeah. Because it's something they cannot take away, something that was done together. Sir. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I love it, man.
This wasn't fake. This wasn't for the cameras. He legitimately was just having the time of his life out there with people. He enjoyed people, whether it was me, you, or anybody.
I want to be staff of the year, right? Like, I really do. I don't want to be like, trust me, no coach, there's no coach in the country that coaches by himself. And whatever award I get, I'm going to take the plate off and I'm going to go get a plate on it that says staff of the year. I'm going to make sure to get my staff one. I'm unbelievably blessed. One of the coaches I've grown really close to and just learned a ton from, I want to give this award to her and her staff. Coach Erica Brennan, Dalton, y'all get down here.
You guys get to see Coach Amir. Some of you get to see him from a little bit closer, a little bit further away, but who he is out in the public is 150,000 times more authentic behind closed doors. Your friendship, Coach, has meant the world to me this year.
Guys, I don't need a piece of net or a ring to tell me I'm a good coach. It's just great to see growth in young people, man. When they start to see themselves as more than just basketball players, when they start to see themselves as men, that tells me right there, you know, these guys get to learn life through a game. Man, coach, man, there ain't nothing like climbing up on that ladder, man, cutting that net down. Cutting down nets are fun, man. Wait till you hold your son or your daughter for the first time. You know, wait till you meet that girl that makes you a better man, that that pushes you to be better, man. And that's when it gets fun. That's the fun part. When that day comes, and it's gonna come, I asked them, Kay, you afraid of heights? Because you're gonna have to get up on that ladder one day to cut down those nets. Go Bulls.
Karen Greer is an Emmy Award-winning news anchor for Atlanta's WSB TV. For decades, she has led initiatives that uplift our communities. Today's Mistress of Ceremonies, Karen Greer.
Good evening, everyone. I know this is a tough time for everyone, but you know what? We are here to celebrate. Okay? This is a celebration. You couldn't live in Atlanta and not know the impact of Amir Abdur-Rahim on this community, what he has done, what he will continue to do, even in his absence. We're here to celebrate the life of a global ambassador. That's what he is. That's what he was to all of us in the sports world, a true rising star, a man of faith, as you heard, a dedicated family man. Dedicated to his beautiful family who was here today. Please make sure you surround them with your love during this very tough time. He loved life and was not afraid to soar, as you saw, and fly high. Marietta native, Wheeler standout, truly made a name for himself. Most of you know about him, and tonight we're hoping to introduce you to more about what he loved, what made him special, what made him tick. So that's why we're here, and to learn more about the causes, at least one in particular that was so near and dear to him and his heart. So we don't want you to be sad once again. We want you to be happy. He has done so much and will always be remembered. As Sharif said earlier this week, from God we come and to God we must all return. And as you heard Amir say, to God be the glory. A prayer now from Imam Clement El-Amin. He's the Imam Emeritus of Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam, one of the largest and most progressive mosques in the United States, former director of the Clara Muhammad Elementary School, W. Dean Muhammad School of Atlanta. He holds an undergraduate degree from Harvard University and has really done wonders in our community. Please join me in welcoming him for the prayer.
I'd like to thank Karen. And on behalf of Atlanta, I'm going to thank the University of South Florida and Aryan for allowing us to celebrate Amir's life here in Atlanta. Because as we saw in the film, he made a strong impact in Tampa, as well as what he made up here at Kennesaw. So I want to offer some perspective in terms of life and death, just to get us going. Of course, Amir was a Muslim, and as you see, he's just a good human being, and that's what we hope for all Muslims and all Christians, Jews and Buddhists, Hindus, everybody, that just be good human beings like Amir Abdur-Rahim. God says in our book, the Quran, "O you who believe, seek help with patience, perseverance, and prayer, for God is with those who patiently persevere. And say not of those who die in the way of God that they are dead. No, they are living, though you perceive it not. Be sure that each of you will be tested with something of fear, of hunger, some loss in your goods, and some loss in the lives. But give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere, who say when afflicted with calamity, Inna Lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, to God we belong, and to God we must return. for they are the ones on whom descend blessings from their Lord, and they are the ones who receive guidance. That Arabic, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, to God we belong and to him is our return. We all belong to the creator of the heavens and the earth. And out of God's mercy, he gives us a life of great freedom to discover the gift of human potential, to discover the gift of human opportunities, and to learn how to be responsible for those gifts. But when God calls us to return, we must respond. We respond, some unwillingly, but most of us, God willing, will respond like Amir, willingly, answering the call of God and returning to the one who created him in the first place. Just 3 days ago, he responded to that call. Our brother, our friend, our husband, our father, son, our coach, he heeded the call of God, and he responded, submitting and surrendering his will. And that's the way he lived for his 43, almost 44 years, submitting to the will of God. And God says, every soul shall have a taste of death. And in the end, to us, God says, shall you be brought back. But those who believe and work deeds of righteousness, to them shall we give a home of heaven, with lofty mansions beneath which rivers flow, to dwell therein on the other side, an excellent reward for those who do good, who persevere in patience, and put their trust in their Lord and cherisher, God Almighty, the most merciful, the most compassionate. It further says, we have ordained death among you, and we are not to be frustrated, overcome, or denied from changing your forms and making you again into what you know not. Amir was a strong believer in life beyond death. He saw death as just a doorway. He wanted to get all of the life that was available to him, but he had no fear of death because he knew that God says, every soul shall have a taste of death. And think not of those who die in the way of God as being dead. No, they are living, finding their sustenance in the presence of their Lord. So a message that he would want me to tell all of you and myself as well, it is not death that we should fear. We should fear not doing good. We should fear not thinking clearly. We should fear not helping others. We should fear not investing in our lives and in the lives of our children. We should fear not caring for our parents. We should fear not following the best and loving the most while we are here. That we should fear how we handle here, because this, how we handle here, is creating our after. And if we are smart human beings, we will live the life similar to Amir Abdur-Rahim, full of life, full of talents, full of ideas, full of personality, a teacher, a coach, a warrior, a hero. Yes, he was a bull, but he also was an owl. A wonderful smile, a wonderful sense of humor, a committed and engaged husband and father. Let us pray. Oh God, merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer, although we call upon you with various names and differing rituals in our souls, oh God, we know that you are one and the same, the giver of life and also the giver of death and the giver of life after death. Help us to deeply believe and understand that you have created both life and death with purpose, with reason, and with mercy. Remove our doubts, fortify our conviction that death is not a punishment. Death is not the end, but a doorway and a transition into a greater awareness and reality. We seek your peace this afternoon. We seek your peace upon the soul of our brother, Amir Abdur-Rahim. Leave no sin of his unforgiven, no anxiety of his unrelieved, no need of his unfulfilled. We pray that paradise is his. Oh God, we seek your peace for his family, his friends, his associates, and the many communities that he embraced. We will all miss him. We will all miss what and who he was to each of us: a companion, a friend, a co-worker, a father, a husband. So we pray, oh God, that you reward him, have mercy upon him, forgive him, absolve him, give him peace, and receive his soul with honor. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To you, O God, we belong, and to you must we return. Now we ask that you bless each and every one that comes forth to find the right words, to bring forth the right memories, to sing the right songs, to pray sincere prayers, and to reflect reverently and deeply upon the life and the spirit of our beautiful, thoughtful soul that we called Amir. In your name we pray. Amen.
Imam Al-Amin, thank you so much. Would like to now say thank you to the people at Kennesaw State University for allowing us to hold this celebration here. What an amazing place this has been for the family, I'm sure, for you, the memories. So to say a few words, would like to now welcome up the president, Kathy Schwag, 6th president of Kennesaw State University. Nearly 48,000 students here now. Amazing how it's grown. 3rd largest public university in the state of Georgia. And with her will be Milton Overton, Director of Athletics here at Kennesaw State University. He arrived here after spending 2 years as Director of Athletics at Florida A&M. He's the 4th individual to hold the position at Kennesaw State. Please welcome them both to the podium.
Evening. On behalf of the entire KSU family, I welcome each of you as we gather to celebrate the life of a remarkable man, Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim. As we reflect on his time with us, it's impossible not to be moved by the profound impact he had on our lives and on our university. When I think of Coach Amir, I think of a man who was always positive, full of energy, and one who walked and lived with intentionality and with a contagious momentum that made you want to walk alongside him. He was a beacon of character and integrity. His presence was magnetic, drawing people in with his charisma and infectious enthusiasm. He approached each day with confidence, reminding us all that every moment is an opportunity to inspire and to uplift others. His spirit was not just about winning games, it was about winning hearts and building a community. Under his leadership, we witnessed the transformation of a struggling basketball program into a contender that reached the heights of March Madness. He took a team that many had given up on and instilled in them a sense of belief, of hard work and resilience. His dedication not only changed the trajectory of our basketball program, but also set a standard of excellence for our university that will resonate for years to come. As president, I owe Coach Amir a debt, as he taught me a number of lessons that I hold dear and will never forget. First, Coach Amir gave me a whole new way to look at my university. It happened here in this facility, and I was sitting right over there. And when we were on the verge of winning the ASUN Conference Championship, it was electric in this facility. This place was on fire. I had never seen anything like it in my 20-plus years of being at this institution. Explosive energy, explosive spirit, explosive pride. I was stunned and somewhat speechless. As he commanded the court and he coached his team, he led us to win that game, the conference, and ultimately punched our ticket to the NCAA tournament. During the next few days and weeks, more people across this country heard about Kennesaw State than ever before, and it was because of this man and his team. Coach Amir showed me what being known could do, not only for a basketball program and athletics, but also for our university, for all of our students, for our alumni and friends. Coach Amir taught me how to think about this university and how to dream bigger for it. Another vivid memory I have of Coach Amir is at the game against Xavier in the NCAA tournament. We lost the game, but we didn't really lose. And Coach Amir wanted to make sure that we knew that. He knew that something magical was happening for all of us that was bigger than the outcome on the scoreboard. In true Amir form, he walked over to the fans in the stands and he looked up at us as we looked back towards him with great admiration. And he told us firmly and in no uncertain terms that we better, and I quote, get used to this. Get used to this. Amir built a program from the bottom up, and in that pinnacle moment reminded all of us that this wasn't a fluke. This was who we are now, and we will carry on and be back. Finally, one last memory. The last time I saw Amir was in this convocation center, but he wasn't here to see a basketball game. Folks, he was here for graduation. Coach left KSU in March of 2023, but he was back here in May of that year and in December of that year to see the young men he had recruited, mentored, and inspired do what they had come to KSU to do, graduate. Amir came quietly, not wanting to draw attention to himself, but to ensure that the spotlight was on his players who were graduating that day. Once again, I stood in awe of him and so grateful for what his actions said in that moment. Friends, that is commitment to the mission of Kennesaw State and to the lives of these young men for the long run. That's character, and that's Amir. The lasting impact of Coach Abdur-Rahim extends far beyond the confines of the court. He taught us valuable life lessons that transcended sports, the importance of teamwork, of perseverance, and always striving for greatness. His legacy will be felt in the hearts of every player he coached, every student he mentored, and every member of our community who had the privilege to know him. He loved Kennesaw State and poured himself into us and gave us 4 incredible seasons. He was a gift to KSU and will be a part of us forever. He is gone too soon, and all of our nation extends our heartfelt condolences to Ari, to Layla, to Lena, to Aiden, and to all who loved him. We grieve with you and celebrate him today and always.
Afternoon, everyone. To Ori, Layla, Lana, and Aiden, family and friends of our great coach, Coach Amir. First off, I want to tell you all thank you for sharing him with us. It means a whole lot to me It means a lot to Kennesaw State University. And I want to thank you for investing seeds of faith and greatness and passion into him, because guess what? We got a piece of that because of it. It's because of what you put in him. And I'm just so blessed and thankful just to have an opportunity to get to know him and see him lead a great organization. So if you've had a relationship with Coach, and I know all of you have, guess what happened? You got better. I'm a better man. I'm a better athletic director because being around someone who is so genuine, who loves people, and who can inspire greatness. So I'm better because of that. According to the Bible in Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, signifying that a good man's legacy is one that extends well beyond his life, positively impacting future generations. So I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no doubt that Coach Amir's legacy, his family legacy, will go on and live through all of us, because he did just that. He will continue to inspire each and every one of us. His impact on Kennesaw State, the community, the players, was so transformational, so historical, okay, that it's going to live on forever. He made a difference. He made us feel like we can believe in each other and believe in this great institution. So because of that, our nation will always have a heart for your family, okay? We'll always be, and I will always be here for you. Coach Amir was a champion in every way imaginable, every way you can think of it. Not just on the court, but he also, and this is most important, not just a great basketball coach, but he lived a championship life. And let me tell you what I think a championship life is. It's one that inspired me each and every time. See, he used to come in that door over there in the morning with his beautiful daughters, preparing them to go to school. That's what a great coach is. Somebody you can believe in. Somebody you know is going to put family first. He focused, that was the first thing he did, was focus on the family. And you know what? When you focus on the family, you can lead young men to championships and victory. So he focused on being a great father and a great husband. And again, I appreciate that, because now I can live that inspired life through him. Coach cared more about the lessons his players learned off the court than on the court. Now, he won a whole lot of championships, okay? But you know what? I knew every single time he came to practice, every single time that he had a game, that what the most important thing was that he knew he was building young men. No, he was building young men to be better husbands, better fathers, better citizens, because they could see who he was. They could see him and how he treated his family, how he loved his family. And if you love your family, you can love your team. He truly cared about them. And so with that, family, we mourn with you, but we celebrate his life. He lived a mission-filled life, a passionate life with purpose. And guess what? That was completed. He won, lived as a champion, won that race. So we want you to know that we love you. Coach Amir will live in our hearts forever. May God bless you, keep your family safe, and we will always be here for you. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I know there are some owls here. Please stand up. Please stand up. Some of the young men that Coach Amir did more than coach, but that he mentored to. We appreciate you all. And I understand there are some bulls here too, perhaps. Where are you? Stand up if you are here. Happy you are joining us. Thank you. All right, would now like to go on and welcome someone else very special. Vice President of Athletics For the University of South Florida, Michael Kelly began his tenure in 2018, returning to the Bay Area where he previously served as an associate athletic director at USF, led efforts around the college football playoff national championship and the NCAA men's Final Four in Tampa Bay. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate the introduction, and thank you to Kennesaw State and to the Abdur-Rahim family for including us, Bulls Nation, in this celebration of life for Coach Abdur-Rahim. It's a joyous occasion to have us all together because, look, we're all hurting. But the only thing worse than hurting is being alone. And when you look around here, none of us are going through this alone. See this facility packed to its rafters. We've got people watching all over the world, online, all because brought together by an incredible man, an incredible person, in Amir Abdur-Rahim. Let us all make sure we live this life and legacy that he's dealing with. So in March of 2023 was the first time I ever had a chance to sit in person with Amir. We were in the midst of a coaching search, and our top priority was to find someone that could build real, authentic relationships with players. My goodness, did we hit a Freddie Freeman Grand Slam World Series home run in terms of that one. The first time we met was on my back porch at my house. We talked for a couple of hours. I don't think we talked one thing about basketball. He beamed about his family, who he loves dearly. He talked about how he was raised and mentored. He talked about his recruiting philosophy, and not about the types of players he was looking for in terms of basketball skills, but he continuously referred to finding players that had the right stuff. That was first and foremost. And he essentially closed his thoughts with me during that session, and I could still hear his voice telling me, and he says, MK, I don't make any promises that I can't keep, but what I promise you is that we will have the most connected basketball team in college basketball. Well, you all know the rest of the story. You saw how that came together in the video that opened this celebration of life, and he certainly delivered on that promise with the young men that are here today and to those that came before them. But what he did was cultivate far more than connecting just that basketball team. Obviously, he did that same thing here at Kennesaw before, but when you think about what happened within a year's time, 18 months' time in Tampa Bay, he pulled together an entire university, an entire Tampa Bay community, one that he really hadn't spent much time in before, but the power of Amir and his family brought that together, and boy, we will never forget. And it's evidenced in terms of how he's brought the entire world together, in terms of the outpouring of love to this family, to everyone that's here today from all over in these past 72 hours. His true lessons had nothing to do with basketball, and his impact was sought and felt far beyond basketball. Just think about, I've reflected upon just the impact on our university. It was special for our basketball players, but every single one of our 14 coaches wanted and asked Amir to come speak to their teams frequently. And no matter how busy he was, he's like, tell me when, I'll be there. Other student athletes from other teams that saw the magic that was happening with our basketball team wanted the same thing. Can Coach Amir come speak to us? They didn't have to ask. He was already at their practice voluntarily. He was throwing out the first pitch very uniquely, as you saw at the softball game when he shot the ball like a basketball. He was at the women's golf championship with our golf coach, voluntarily supporting those girls as they would quest for a championship. Just powerful. Those student athletes want to do it. Then you go to the next level with students. We have 50,000 students at the University of South Florida. And in a story that I hope you all read that's on the USF website by Joey Johnston, a very talented writer in the Tampa Bay community, he pointed out how there was a quote from a student that said, I would go through a wall for Coach Abdur-Rahim. And in the story, it kind of said, was that a 5-star recruit? Was that one of his players? No, it was chemistry major. Believed in what he did to that university and saw what he did for that university. So, and gosh knows the fans, whether it's the SoFlo Rodeo, whether it was all the fans that kind of got behind that momentum, it was a movement. It was a movement. I was there at USF in an associated D role, as Karen said 20 years ago. We sold out that place once when we hosted the University of Florida, and there's probably 50% Florida Gator fans in there. All right. We sold out the Yangling Center 3 times in a row under Amir Abdur-Rahim's leadership. And people said the first time, oh, that's because you're playing a top 25 team and you beat them, and that was cool. Nope, because then we came back the next time at 9 o'clock against an unranked team on a weeknight, and then did it again a week later on the same type of conditions. It was a movement. They loved him, they believed in him, and they saw what he was doing to the university. That was the magic of Amir. He understood the lesson that I learned from my professor in college, Dr. Maya Angelou, who he loved very much in terms of her work and her writings, is that we're all more alike than we are unalike. I'll say it again. We're all more alike than we are unalike. And he went out of his way to find that special link and bond with every single person, I'm sure in this room, and every single person he met in the Tampa Bay community to find out what that link was. All of you have that special story that's in your mind, or a special thing, whether you knew him for 43 years or whether you knew him for 18 months or even a day you met him when he was buying you coffee in the student union. He had an uncanny ability to find that link and to make that person feel really, really special. And so as we all find a way to celebrate and figure out a way to continue this legacy, I want us to let's learn from that. How do we all find that common bond in everyone we meet and make them feel special? Because the world was a better place because of Amir Abdur-Rahim, and it will continue to be a better place each and every day if we follow that lesson and find that common link and realize that we're more alike than we are unalike and make everybody feel really, really special. So we at the University of South Florida are very grateful that Amir and the family decided to share part of his remarkable journey with us. It was a magical ride, and we promise to make sure his legacy lives on in our community and our students forevermore. And in closing, I certainly can't do it justice, so I'm going to ask your help. But for the Bulls, you know what I'm talking about. And for the Owls and for everyone else, we have the horn signal, which we do this, and we say, "Go Bulls." But he had an uncanny way when he closed it to say it really with a huge emphasis on the Bulls, all right? So, and on the count of 3, we're all going to do that. All right, we're going to say go, and then you really hit the Bulls, all right? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go Bulls! God bless. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to take a minute now to give you some time to read the obituary, which is in the program that you have. And while you're doing that silently, we will show a video from the family. So take a look at your screen as well.
All the times you thought you'd never make it through, felt just like the world just turned its back on you. Didn't stop you. All the times you could have given in and given up, times you didn't know if you were strong enough. Still you got through. Somehow it's all part of the plan, the journey. The journey. It's the journey. It's the getting there to where you're going to. Go through hell, but still you're gonna make it through. It's the fire it's a hell of a ride. All the times they thought that they could hold you back, but you've always known there was no chance of that. You're made too strong, and when you're going with your heart, you can go farther than you'd ever thought possible. step you take is one step along the way on the journey.
Now, in lieu of flowers, the family's asking that you make donations to the Future Foundation. The code on your screen, so you can take out your cell phones and snap the QR code there on your screen. I want to quickly read, as a member of the Abdur-Rahim Family Foundation, Amir was a frequent donor to the Future Foundation, a vocal supporter of the mission. This past May at the Spring Mixer, woman said, I had the opportunity to meet him. Amir told me of his dedication to the task of stuffing, addressing, and mailing hundreds of envelopes to prospective donors. Before he left that night, he left the largest donation of the evening. This is from Ronette V. Smith, the CEO of the Future Foundation. So that meant a lot to him. If you could make donations to that, the family would be very grateful as well. Now would like to continue our program and remind everyone of our 90 seconds. I know it's tough to boil down what you'd like to say, but we want to make sure we've got a nice long list here at the end that everyone gets a chance to say something. Our next speaker with remarks is, oh no, we have two people, Todd Eccles and Tamia Mays, family friends, who'd like to say something. So let's welcome them.
Good afternoon. I'm short. Good afternoon, everyone. This is literally the hardest thing I have ever had to do. I have been a friend, let me rephrase that. Amir has been a friend to me, more like a brother to me, for 32 years. And this is devastating. And when I was asked to speak, I said yes without hesitation, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, what do I say? What are the right words? And I kept being told that you've known him so long, the words will come. Speak from your heart, the words will come. And just looking at everybody here, I know that he meant so much to everybody, but Amir was so much more than my friend. He was my brother, and I am the official 13th sibling. You're gonna hear that? Todd and Trey and I battle that out, but I am number 13, official. But he was so much to me. In the past 2 years, he's had a lot going on, and he never put that before people. His selflessness was second to none. I mean, that's an understatement. He always found time to call me, text me, check on me, One of the last messages he sent me was, "Dear best friend, I'm just checking in on you to say I'm proud of you and I love you." That means so much more to me now, because he always showed me and told me how important I was to him, no matter what he had going on. And that's just who he was as a person, not just to me, but to everybody. And our relationship was just like brother and sister. I took great pride in aggravating him to no end. The last time I saw him last month, I went to go see him, and Ari had this thing where I knew I needed to get on him anytime she said, "You need to talk to your friend." Say less, sis, say less, got you. Because I took pride in just getting on Amir. And one of the last things that I thought was so funny, like as adults, we still acted like kids. He had some candy or something. I just felt like he was doing too much because Amir said, "Get your friend." And he had asked for the candy, and one of the coaches was bringing it to him, and he walked past me. I said, let me get that. And he gave it to me, and I just turned around and I said, "No." And he called my sister to tell on me. And I'm like, we still doing that? Grown man, that's what we're doing, okay. But that was the essence of our relationship for 32 years. And I am going to miss him like no other, like no other. He has been a part of my life, my family's life, a part of me for 32 years, and will continue that. I love Amir more than I could ever explain, because he meant that much. He means that much to me. And just watching the videos just brought back so many memories. There's so many things I could say. But again, our relationship was such that the first video with the little two-step, I would always get on him about that and say, "Hey, let's not do that," okay? But that was my friend. That was my brother. And he will be that forever, forever. And in closing, as Amir would say, to God be glory, to God be the glory. I love you, friend. I love you, brother. And you will forever, forever be a part of me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Todd. I'm the honorary 13th member of the Abdur-Rahim family. Don't listen to her. So, quick story on how Amir and I met. My family moved to Marietta in the middle of my 7th grade year. We didn't meet till later that year in the spring during our sister's track meet. And here's the story of how we met. He might say it different. So we met at the track meet. "Hey, you in 7th grade? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, you want to race? Okay, let's go." I won the race. He will say something different, but I actually won the race. And not to say he's gonna hold a grudge or anything, but probably a year later, to the day, he stole my 8th grade girlfriend. But eventually we became best friends. We celebrated each other through many of life's seasons. He was my best man. He was another uncle to my kids. He wasn't just my best friend, he was family, a true inspiration to all of us. He was more than a basketball coach. He was a warrior of faith, discipline, and strength. And, one of 12 siblings, Amir knew the importance of family. He was a devoted husband to Ari, an incredible father to his 3 beautiful children, Layla, Lana, and Aiden. His love for them shined bright. He was always made time to be there for them, and teaching them the values that he lived by. His spirit was something else. He could light up a room and lift even the heaviest of hearts, whether it was offering advice, cracking jokes, just being there when we needed him. Amir was always present. His impact on my life and the lives of so many others is something that I'll carry with me forever. So as we remember Amir today, let's honor the legacy of love, family, and faith. He may not be with us physically. I personally find joy in knowing that he's with Big Willie, the suntan Superman. Yes, he's in hand with his father. But Amir's spirit will always push us to strive for greatness and support one another, just like he did. Okay. Love y'all.
Thank you so much. Would now like to welcome a man that for 20 years was at the helm of the Wildcats, guided them to 13 regional championships, 9 appearances in the Georgia Final Four, 7 appearances in the title game, 5 state titles, mounting a 543 to 121 record. He knows who I'm talking about. In addition to his teams have finished the year, they ranked by USA Today on 6 different occasions, Coach Doug Lipscomb. Wheeler High School.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. She shortchanged me on a whole lot of awards, y'all, but it's not about me right now. First of all, I want to thank Miss Deborah and Mr. Rahim for allowing me the opportunity to work with their children. They were a blessing to me. I remember one time when Amir was in the middle school, and I was crossing the street to work with the kids over there in a mentoring program, and one of the teachers saw me, and she said, I need to talk to you about one of your future players. And I said, okay. So she said, it's Amir Abdur-Rahim. He's sleeping in my class. I said, okay. So I said, well, when he does it again, you call me. So back then, you know, you had those little flip phones. So I said, my number's 404-309-CATS. You know, I made it simple for everybody to call me. And so one day I was across the street, she called me, she said, he's sleeping in my class. I said, don't say nothing. So I went across the street and I was looking in the door, and he was asleep. So the little guy beside him, I said, tap him. So when he tapped Amir woke up, and Amir looked at him, and then the little boy pointed to the door, and I looked at Amir, and I did like that. And long story short, I never had to get on him again. And of course, when I went back across the street, I told Sharif, I need you to handle that for me. And he did. But one thing about when I say they were a blessing to me, I was always in their lives. They were in my life. When they went to California, Amir didn't like California, so his mom said he can come and live with me. So they gave me guardianship of Amir. We had to do it the right way. I didn't want nobody to say I was recruiting kids, you know? So he came in, everything worked out well. He played hard. We had one heck of a meal plan. Monday, we probably were eating burgers. Tuesdays and Fridays, we had games. So I said, well, we eating Wednesday, Amir. He figured out something. I said, well, we eating buffalo wings on Thursday. And then Friday, we had games. But he was such a blessing to have he was like a calming type person for me. Because I did act up from time to time, and he'd say, Coach. And so that I knew what that meant. But when he lived with me, I would break down films, and then when I come back, or I'd leave and I come back, I would see him breaking down film on his own. And I said, this guy, he gets it, and he's special. You know, just like the rest of the kids in the family, he's special, but he really is taking his craft serious. And, you know, the program that I tried to structure was all-inclusive. And I'll give you a quick example. One time we were playing at Georgia Tech, and it was like a TV game, and it was a timeout, and I had my stat guy right beside me named Andrew Bashik. And Andrew was the type kid, he was kind of, I would say he didn't hang around a lot of people, but he had his laptop with him at all times. So he was sitting beside me and it was a timeout. So when they went back out on the court, I said, Amir, come here. And so I said, Andrew, what's he shooting? He said, he's 4 for 12. And I said, Amir, you know you 4 for 12? He said, but coach, you said that was good from the 3. And I looked at Andrew and Andrew said, no, that's from the floor. and I said, I said something along the line like, you need to go out there and get your stuff together. But I probably didn't say stuff, y'all, you know. I said, get to the cup, and he did. He was just a blessing at all times. So when Amir walked away, Andrew said, Coach, he's gonna kill me. I said, no, you part of the family. So I said that to say this. It was all inclusive at Wheeler. So, and Andrew was a kid, in case y'all didn't know, Andrew never wore shoes. He always wore open-toed sandals. And I mean, I'm talking all year long. So if anybody knew him, you know I'm telling you the truth. And somebody said shorts and sandals. But he was welcome into our family. He was a Caucasian kid, and I had no issue with anybody's color. My point is that if the family let him leave the house like that, who am I to tell him he got to put on shoes, you know? Not an issue. But in closing, when Amir got here, I saw a change in the community. I saw a change in the pride of the school. I saw more like unity in this whole area. And I was very proud of that. And I think you all are very proud of the situation as well. He's a winner. And I'm gonna say this right here. There are 2 dates. You're born, and then there's the transition. And in between there's a dash. That dash is what you put your life. It's your life. And Amir, great father, great person, good character, good coach, respectful to everybody. I mean, you can't ask for any more. His cup was running over. And I don't look at his dash, the dash in between born and transition. His was going up. And I have to say in closing that we preach our own celebration every day we live. And everything that you all say is nothing but good stuff about him. And so if I'm gonna put something out there, I gotta say, #ProudCoach. And I'm gonna let it leave with that.
Thank you, Coach. Now we've got another family friend who would like to speak. Want to welcome him up. We've got Henry Trey Reed, along with, right behind him will be a coach that Amir knew well, a college basketball coach, most recently was the head coach for the University of Georgia, Coach Thomas Crean, and then behind him will be Coach Proom, who will have some words to say as well. Stephen Marshall Proom was head coach for Murray State and Iowa State, so that will be their order. Come on up.
I got my 2 brothers with me, Marcus and Kier. We all family friends and brothers. This is bittersweet because the last time we was here, Mayor was cutting down the nets. And we were celebrating and hugging, and it's a proud moment, man. So, and now we're celebrating his life, man. So, I'm sorry. But this is rough, you know, so. But I just want to tell a funny story, man, just on the lighter side, man. So Reef and my god brother Pepe, man, because my god brother and Sharif were best friends. So I remember graduating high school, me and Amir called all week, hey, Pay and Reef are going to take us out. Graduation, we're going to go to the club, we 18, but we can't get in, but we can just act like we 21. So we like, oh, Sharif and Pay, they'll get us in. So we talked about it the whole week. So we was in the car. Pay and Sharif told us vividly, hey, y'all not 21, but tell them you're 21. So he's like, please do not say you're 18. Sharif goes in. I go in, how old are you? Sharif said, make sure y'all got a deep voice too. I said, 21. Pepe goes in. Here comes Amir. How old are you? 18. Sharif lost it. But I just say what kind of person he was, man. He was so much integrity, and he was so honest at that age. And it kind of exuded a person he was. He's a friend, a brother, coach, just everything, man. And he was just so passionate about his family and just teaching the boys, man, coaching the young man, man. Just every time I would talk, even when I saw him in the hospital, man, he was just still talking about coaching them plays. And I'm like, Amir, you're in that freaking hospital. You know what I'm saying? So he just loved the guys and the boys. And it hurts, man. But, you know, like I said, man, you know, God will always give us an assignment. I think Amir completed his assignment, y'all. As you can see, his legacy will live on forever. And Ari, you know, I'm always gonna be here for you. Leigh, Alana, Aiden, hey, anything y'all need from me, and plus his family, Mama Deborah, Amina, Noe, Reef, Kadir, especially, you know, Sharif, you already know how we always talk, so about how this situation, man. When last time I saw you in the hospital, man, you kept me strong, man. I want to say thank you for that, man. So, in closing, man, I just want to say thank y'all for everybody just allowing me to share your brother with me, man. He's a brother to me as well, man, because we've been friends since the 5th grade, man. So it's never another friend. All the friends, especially Kerry, and it's a brotherhood, man. And I just want to say thank y'all so much, and a few words from letting them speak as well, a couple of stories, so thank y'all.
How y'all doing? I want to give a quick story about my brother. He's just a good dude. One of the best guys that I've ever come across, and he's one of the most determined people. When he took the Kennesaw State job, he was determined to turn it around. When he went to USF, he was determined to turn it around. And I just want to tell y'all that everybody thinks that Anthony Edwards was his biggest recruit. Not true at all. I'll give y'all a quick story. So we used to throw these house parties back in the day. Coach Johnson, I think you got me in trouble a couple times about these house parties. But anyway, so one July the 4th, we throw a house party. So we have a friend, Monica, who grew up with us, who ended up moving to Florida when we went to high school, and she came back. She said, hey, I'm in town. I said, cool, we got a party going on, come through. She said, I got a friend with me, y'all mind? Now, fellas, you already know, my first question was, is she cute? She's like, don't worry about that, cool, come on. So now, we've been talking to Amir all day. He just came back from Murray State. Now he's at Georgia Tech now. We're like, look, bro, before you got to come out. We ain't seen you in a while. Come on down. So we drag. He's like, all right, I'm there. She's there. So Monica comes in with a specific young lady who shall remain nameless right now. And we meet her. Hey, how you doing? Well, Amir walks in. So he said, hey, come here, let me talk to y'all for a minute. So, all right. So he said, look, who is that over there in the corner? I was like, oh, that's Monica's friend. I just met her. He's like, all right, look me in my eye. He's like, y'all two. Can't nobody touch her tonight. That's me. I said, all right. Cool, bro, you got it. So the determination kicked in all night. Party started at like 3 o'clock. All night. Now it's like 10 o'clock. So, you know, us being responsible people, we moved the party to a club that shall remain nameless. And we always had one rule. We come in together, we leave together. So we all come in the party, the club rather. We get seated, we having a good time, great time. Things are flowing, numbers are getting taken. Now it's time to go. So all right, let's do the head count. So we clicking. We're like, hey, where's Amir? Trey, where's Amir? I don't know, bro. All right, we can't leave until we find him. So then I say, Monica, where your homegirl? I don't know. So now we down 2 bodies. So I'm like, damn. So now we looking. I think I even asked the bouncer. I said, hey, dog, you seen this dude, bald head dude? Probably with a young lady. And he looking at me like, bro, that's like 30% of the club. I'm like, all right, cool. So maybe like another hour goes by, and I'm walking by, and I just hear this smacking in this club. And I'm like, and I just so happen to turn around, and my man is in the corner with this particular young lady, slobbing her down. So I'm like, hey, we gotta go, bro. My man looked at me and he said, I told you I was gonna get it done. I said, all right. I think y'all all know who that young lady is, because 5 months later, I received a wedding invitation. Ball game.
Okay. TMI. She's turning red. And 90 minutes, 90 seconds, 90 seconds. All right, coaches, come on up.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I want to say something, because I think it probably, all the different emotions we've all been going through since Thursday, they just come, they stay, they come back with sadness, whether it's the disbelief, the shock, frankly, the anger at times. And as every emotion comes through, I keep coming back to something that I truly, truly believe. He was ready to meet God when that time came. I have no doubt in my mind, knowing him, knowing his family, not only seeing and hearing and being a part of what he was spiritually, but you could feel it in him. And no matter what we're all going through, that is a huge, huge, I want to call it a relief, but it's in that ballpark. Back in 2007, there was a really, really good coach at Wake Forest named Skip Prosser. He started as a head coach kind of late, but he was at Xavier, really did a great job building that, Loyola Maryland before that, and he went to Wake Forest. Well, one day in July, he returned home from a recruiting trip, and he went to work out back at Wake Forest, and he went to lay down after that workout, that run, and he didn't wake up. And the thing about Skip, he was not one of those guys that puffed his chest out. I mean, he was a great coach. He was in the ACC. He was not one of those guys that self-promoted. He was not one of those guys that said, look at me. And he passed. And as a basketball coach and as a person, when he passed in 2007, there was absolutely no doubt that he was on top of his game. When Amir passed, he was on top of his game. Maybe not on top of his health, but he was on top of his game. And I'm so envious, as Joni, my wife, we are so envious of all of you that knew him for so long. Because we didn't meet him till the night I interviewed him for the job at Georgia. And it was April of 18. We met at a hotel somewhere in Buckhead. I saw Rodney Hurd today. I thanked Rodney, because those of you that know Rodney know he is a persistent man. And he is a convincer, right? He kept telling me about Amir. And I'd never met Amir Abdur-Rahim in my life. I knew who he was, but I'd never met him. I certainly knew Sharif, knew of Sharif. I knew of the family, right? You couldn't be in basketball and not know of the family. But we met, and Ari was there. And within 2 minutes, obviously, the recruiting question was put to bed because he had Ari, right? So there was no question about his ability to land the highest level of recruit. So I can add to what they said earlier. I don't have anything else funny past that. But we sat, we talked, and I think, believe it or not, they were coming from Charleston. I think they'd been to a wedding of one of their former players, I think. But I could be wrong about that. But we got it done shortly thereafter. And I'd never met him, right? Within 3 months, maybe 4 months going into the summer, it was like I'd worked with him for 5 or 6 years. It was like we'd been together that long. Chad Dollar was with us. Chad knew him, obviously, and certainly that helped. But we get into the season, and it's got its ups and downs early on, and I'm going through a situation with my mother who's near the end of her life. And she passed in January of 19. And we knew it was coming, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you know it's coming. It hits. And I was in the office, and long story short, I was incoherent, could barely walk, couldn't talk. And there was Amir coming out of that office, and Amir would not let me go. He held on to me, he helped me walk, he helped me get to the couch. He took me to the car when Joni came to pick me up. We had practice later that night, practice the next day, played Florida on a Saturday. I barely remember any of that, but I do remember Amir just taking care of everything for me, making sure we were set. Chad was obviously in there too, making sure that we were good. There was no doubt in my mind that no matter how long we were together, we'd be friends forever. There was no doubt. And fast forward to when the Kennesaw job became open, and Pam Whitten was the president at that time, who had just left Georgia. And Amir wanted to go after the job. He was interested in the job. Last thing I wanted was to lose Amir Abdur-Rahim. We had just recruited Anthony. We were trying to build. We still had Nick Claxton at that point before he went into the pre-draft cycle and just totally did a great job, and obviously was going to be an early pick in that draft. But we did not want to lose Amir because I knew it was going to set us back. I knew that. Okay, not just because we had Anthony coming in, but because of who he was. But a sign to me of how much I loved him was I was not going to do anything to try to hold him back. Greg McGarity had given me a raise to the point we could basically double what he was going to make at Kennesaw, but I never used it because that's what he wanted. He wanted to be a head coach. He wanted to come home. He wanted to build in the city that he was born and raised in. He wanted to be that guy. He wanted it to start. And as bad as it hurt me, as bad as it hurt us, and the biggest fear was how was I going to tell my wife she was getting ready to lose her great friend Ari and those two beautiful girls at that point. Because obviously Lana was born while they were at Georgia. But he went. And he went, and look what he did. Look what he has done. Since he took that job, since he left us at Georgia, since he came into Kennesaw, since he went to South Florida. When I was at Marquette my first year, I worked for a guy, there was a guy that was a pretty famous guy that worked for him. I would have loved to. Al McGuire, legendary coach. He retired at the top of his game. He won the national championship against North Carolina at the Omni in '77. And we had a year and a half together before he passed away. He had a bad disease and he didn't make it. But one of the first times we were ever together, he says, Tom, he says, I built an army here, but not the kind of army that you think. It's the kind of army that's built one person at a time. You can do the same thing. Don't ever forget it's one person at a time. Well, I never forgot that. And everywhere we were, Marquette, Indiana, coming into Georgia, that was how it was going to be. And every time that I could get the coaching staff, the coaches on our staff to understand that this, you roll up your sleeves, you go at it, you do whatever it takes to get people to believe in what you are building. And Amir jumped right in. Man, he'd ask questions, and he'd obviously been with great coaches like Billy and Steve. He'd been places. But the bottom line is, man, we did everything we could do to not only raise the view of Georgia basketball, but to get everybody, every single person on campus, around town, anybody we came in contact with to understand that they mattered to what we were building. That is exactly what Amir Abdur-Rahim did at Kennesaw, and it is exactly what he did at South Florida. And there's so many things that I want to say, but I want to say this most importantly, and I want to say this to everybody in here and to his team and everybody that's listening, because it's been beautiful to look at the way people have reached out on social media, the calls I've gotten for being his friend. And as my wife said, we may not have known all his friends, but his friends knew us and we knew about his friends. Because if there was one person that was proud of the relationships and proud of who he was involved with, and absolutely proud every single second of every day to have his beautiful wife and 3 beautiful kids and to have that family that he had, we all knew it. Every one of us knew it, and we were all better for it. But what Amir stands for, what Amir has built, what put Amir at the top of his game is the fact that he didn't say, hey, look at me. It was, look at us. It wasn't, hey, we need all of you. No, we need you. We need you, we need you, we need you. He went into the dorms. He wasn't afraid to talk to the person that was shy. He went into the eating areas. He went to all the other events. He said, it's not just about my program, it's about this school. It's about the other programs. It's about the other coaches. That's hard to do. That is hard to do. It is hard to have a family, to want to be first and foremost with your family, to try to run a program, but to make sure that you understand that everywhere that you go, you are trying to build towards what you want to accomplish. See, leaders, there's a lot of characteristics of great leaders. Number one, you better be able to attack and get through hard. You better be able to get through that, because it's going to stay hard. And building Kennesaw from 1 win to the championship and going into South Florida, that's hard stuff. We came in his first year, and over in that section over there were 3 students that were dressed in the paint, they were dressed in the gear, they were standing in the front row. There were other students here. And that was at a time when half the crowd was the Abdur-Rahim family, right? Because that's kind of what it was. That's where it was at that point. But those 3 students sit there, and my wife and I, we were sitting behind the bench, and I'm looking at that, and he's coaching his tail off. He made those 3 feel a part of this. And I couldn't tell you, they might be here. I never met them. He made them feel that they were a part of this. He did that everywhere on this campus. He did that everywhere in this town. And living in Sarasota, Florida, now like we do, I watched him do it in Tampa. He didn't say, hey, come because I'm the coach. He didn't get these guys to play hard just because he was the coach. They watched him go through things. They watched him put hard first. They watched him overcome those things, because you've got to be able to go through hard, but there's 2 other things that you've got to have. You've got to have great competitive stamina if you're going to lead. And Amir has that competitive stamina. And you better have vision, endurance. And this is where we all come in right now, every one of us. Because everybody misses him. Everybody's going to miss him. But we're not letting it go. We're not letting it go. He had vision, endurance. It probably happened even faster than he would think at South Florida. I saw them practice the day before they left for an East Coast trip for Hofstra and UMass, and I was scared because it was not going great. Little bit of injury, some guys not buying in, listening yet. He didn't have it yet. He didn't have it. But watching him coach, watching him be unafraid to challenge, watching him to deal with confrontation, to deal with a conflict, to not be afraid to walk away, to challenge a player to be better, to challenge somebody to get through it. He did that. He did that every day. I didn't get to see it every day. I saw it at Georgia, but he did that as a head coach. You can't build what he built and what he was building without having that. And he had it. And that vision endurance now that he has, for what he saw in Pryor, for what he saw in Selton McGill, for what he saw early on in the recruiting of Jennings and Youngblood and Stroud and Burton and Jaden Reed, and we can go right on down the list. He saw things in those guys. He saw things in those people. He had a vision for them. And he was doing everything he could every day to make it come to reality. And that's hard. That's a challenge. It's not easy. Every bit of who he is can be carried out through all of us. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm telling you the truth. When we walk out of here and we go through our grief and we pray for the family and they go through their grief, we have a responsibility. Because the one thing that I found myself doing the last couple of days when people would hit me and reach out and I'd say, man, he was going to be one of the greats. Within 3 to 5 years, he'd be one of the absolute greats. And I was wrong. Because he is great now. He was great. He was great, not just because of the coaching acumen, not just because of his personality, not just because of his knowledge, not just because of the way that he worked. He put it all together because he was unafraid to challenge you to love back. He was unafraid to get the most out of you. He was unafraid to walk in and talk to people when maybe it didn't seem convenient, but there he was. That is what we have a responsibility to carry out. He had a vision for his family with Ari. God, I could talk forever. The partnership, about them, the partnership, I'm going to close, seriously. The partnership that they have is uncommon. And what we've got to be able to do as we move forward in this type of thing right now, we got to carry out that vision. Because that man, if you were loved by him, you knew it. And you knew who else he loved. He not only loved his family, but he loved those players. And every one of you have a responsibility to carry out the lessons that you've had. Because when he told you that love wins, well, my brother, love won. Because you put a lot more inside of us than we all realized we had in us. And our job and our responsibility and the way we thank him for all that he has done for us is we carry that out forward throughout everything that we do. And we have that vision endurance, not only for what he had a vision for, but how to carry out the friendship that he showed us of what it's all about. We love you, Amir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Coach. I am going to put a timer here. I'm sorry, you get the timer, Coach. I'm sorry. There we go. Boom.
I told Coach Lipscomb, I think I only get 30 seconds now, so I gotta make this quick. It's really an honor to be up here. I spent the last couple days looking at social media, looking at old pictures, reading articles, and it's amazing, a kid that I met at 17 years old when Coach Kennedy signed him as a high school kid at Southeastern, and then he ended up going junior college, and then came back to us. The effects and the impacts that he's had on the people we worked at Southeastern that's here, at Murray State, and then just the whole basketball community. To Ari and the children, so sorry for your loss. Katie and I send our thoughts and prayers, and we'll be here for you guys. To Sharif and the Abdur-Rahim family, we'll always be thinking and praying for you, and again, so sorry for y'all's loss. I've known Amir since he was 17, probably 25 years, and our relationship has had many stages, from player coach to colleagues at Murray State, to friends, to confidants, and then family. He's one person that I always knew could count on to make me truly, truly believe in myself. There's 3 things that I think when you talk about Amir that you talk about. Number 1, he's a winner. If you go back and look at Southeastern, champion at Southeastern, changed the trajectory of that program. Murray State, part of one of the historic runs. My most favorite season in coaching was 2010, when I was an assistant with him and Isaac Chu, and under Coach Kennedy's direction. It's the best year of my life as a coach because of the relationships that the 3 of us had. Texas A&M, Sweet 16s. They've been to Sweet 16 4 times. He was part of 2 of them. And then the job, everybody's talked about the job he did at Kennesaw and the job that he did at South Florida. I would also say he's a friend, a connector, and a mentor. I've never seen anyone that I've worked with be able to get to the heart and soul of each player. It was amazing, amazing to watch. Everybody had their role on his staff, and players came in his office left and right. and he took care of all the issues, and he stayed in the gym and got guys better. But he was also a connector for me, because I didn't find the love of my life till later in my years, in my 30s. And I met my wife in Murray, and everybody knows when you're dating, you have your little spats, and you go through some moments. And Amir and Isaac, they were always on me about, you got to find somebody. Well, I finally found somebody, and then we got into it. And unbeknownst to me, Amir had sent my future wife a full-page Facebook message basically saying, we got to get this thing worked out. You and Steve need to be together. And we've been married 11 years now and have 4 children. And then I would say he's an unbelievable husband, father, son and brother. The last time we spent an individual time together, we were on the road recruiting in Augusta, July 12th. It was my birthday. I turned 50. And he texted me during the day and said, hey, we're going to dinner tonight. You're not going to eat birthday dinner alone. And the last thing we did before we left that night was we FaceTimed Ari and the kids while she was putting them to bed to say hello. There's 3 things that people have talked about, and I've read different articles and quotes, but I'll leave you with this. I know that Mike talked about go Bulls, but I love when I would watch I got infatuated watching him on Twitter, and he'd go down there and he'd talk about relax. But I think that speaks to how confident he was. He was so confident in who he was and what he was about and what he knew he had to get done. The second thing I read the other day in that article that Mike touched on is most of us have sight, but not all of us have vision. And he had an amazing vision. And you saw it at Southeastern as a player, where there's several of you guys here. You saw it as a coach, assistant coach. You saw it as a head coach. And you saw it as a husband and a brother and a son. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, I went back this week and I'm watching we watched the championship or the Xavier game in our office, my staff, and they got robbed at the end. It was a bad call. They should have been a foul. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about, right, Chris? But I'm listening to his post-game speech, and he talked about having tears of joy. And he talked about love wins. He knew he had connected a group of guys. He connected a community. He connected a university. And, in closing, I just challenge us all to leave today with his message of love wins. If we all can unite with that message of love wins. That'll be our team's motto at Murray State this year in honor of Amir and his family, and what he's meant to me and my family is love wins. To God be the glory. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Coach. All right, we've got some former players and current players that are going to join us next. So, without further ado, we have Joe Cheeley, former player, and Terrell Burden and Brandon Stroud. So do you guys want me to show you the timer as it goes, or are you good?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Cheeley, and like a lot of players, active and former, I've had the privilege of being recruited, coached, and in a lot of ways mentored by Amir Abdur-Rahim. And I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I want to respect the 90 seconds. But I will share one thing that he shared with me in my time in Charleston. He always used to tell me, man, I took basketball way too seriously. And that was kind of hard for me to grasp at the moment, but he knew exactly what I would need later on in life. And he would always say, keep the main thing, right? And I want to encourage you, the main thing for Amir, like a lot of the people that have spoke before me, the main things for him, like people have said, he was a man of faith first and foremost. His relationship with God is what drove him. You can see it in the way he led. And then secondly, like how people have said, he was a family man through and through. He loved his family. Ari, he loved you tremendously, and he couldn't stop talking about you and the kids. And the guys that's gonna talk after me, they'll tell you that wasn't his only family. Everybody he ever coached, anybody he coached with, he worked with, they were his family as well. And so I think in order to commemorate him properly, we have an obligation to lean on God in this moment, in this tough time, and put all our trust in him when it doesn't make sense, because it really does not make sense right now. And then love our family, both our immediate family and the family in the spaces that we're given to occupy. And so to the family, my heart is with you. I love you. And I'm praying that God sustains you through this tough time. God bless.
Man, where do I start? Just being with Coach Amir for 5 years, man, it showed me a lot, just being a young man, just being a friend to the people around me, man. Just being around family, just being with Coach Amir is a funny guy, always goofing off, playing around, man. Just being at Kennesaw with him, playing around, and just being here since I was 18, man, just being with him. I'm 22 now, and just not being able to play with him my last year, man, hurt me, because I came to South Florida for him. You know, just being able to be with him, man, just seeing him in the hospital, man, it really hurt me a lot, because I know he was fighting. He was ready to get back out there and coach us, man. And some people don't know he's a very playful guy, but when it's time to get serious, it's time to get serious, man. I just appreciate his approach to everything, and just be able to instill that in me, and me instilling to everybody that I'm going to meet, man. And thank you, Coach Amir. And one thing I want to say, when you was rolling off the court after practice Monday, man, you told me you love me. I just want to tell you I love you too, man.
Yeah, I knocked this down. All right, I want to start by saying this is not my strong suit, so I'm finna just read all this paper, 90 seconds. I know that man is up there laughing at me today. He always knew I hated speaking in public, but he made me do it anyway, because he know I needed to learn. Now I'm here speaking about him, and I know he think it's funny. I just know he do. I know I could come up here and tell y'all a million basketball stories, but at the end of the day, basketball was what he used to teach us about how to become a man. I wrote a letter to him, I want to say like 2 months ago, and I'm glad I was able to tell him how I felt about him while he was still here. And I just want to be able to share with y'all real quick. Dear my best friend, I just want to start by saying thank you for helping me turn from a young kid into a man with a different perspective of life. Before I met you, I was just someone who stayed in their bubble and never did anything outside their comfort zone. Now, after having the luxury of being coached by you, not only did you teach me the game of basketball and build my IQ, you also taught me how to adapt to the circumstances around me and bring everyone up with me. Teaching me how to be on as a leader every single day, learning my teammates and the way they react to things, and being able to sit down and have man-to-man talks with you about the way to make things work. Turning a shy, quiet kid who used to get cussed out every practice into a man who is now a reflection of you. And while I'm speaking on practice, I'm just going to end it with a quick little story. I'll never forget, we was right here in preseason, and it was probably about a couple years ago. And anyone who knows me, I have a trainer named Mark Edwards, and that man is as crazy as he can get, but now there's a close second. After one of those practices, I don't think it was a good practice. It was preseason, so if you know Amir, it was straight defense, 2 hours, 2:30, straight defense. And so it was one of those practices we weren't on, we weren't connected, we weren't talking enough, and he would cuss me out, and everything would be my fault. Someone don't dive on the ball for a loose floor, he'll blow the whistle, turn around, look at me, and cuss me out. And so I never forget, it was one practice, he cussed me out, and then he threatened to call my mom. And my mom had like, go ahead, call my mom, I'm not worried about that, knowing my mom is the only person I fear in this world. So right after practice, we laid on the ground, we tired, and I'm not thinking about it no more. I'm thinking he just trolling, just chatting. Little do I know, after I get up and go to the locker room, the first thing I see on my locker is 2 missed phone calls and a paragraph. So later on that week, probably about 2 practices next, I'm getting cussed out again, probably same reason. And he threatened that again, but I knew one thing though, I was gonna beat him to that locker room and I was gonna call my mom and snitch on him myself. So I just want to say, for that, I can never be thankful for you enough because not only did you help me with my basketball career and help me get where I am today, you helped me change my approach through life and the way I see things. Being on my feet right every day, waking up trying to find my purpose in this world, and enjoying every moment as they come is something I'd always cherish. Being uncomfortable is the new comfortable. And lastly, there are two teams in here that he's coached, but there's one thing in common, being that Coach Amir left a legacy within us. And that legacy wasn't just good. It wasn't just great. It was elite. That's all I got.
Great job, guys. Up next, we've got a trio of coaches who would like to come join us. Coach Fletcher joins Kennesaw State following 14 seasons as an assistant coach at Troy. A Georgia native out of Columbus, Coach Pershing Williams starts his fourth season on Kennesaw State's bench after joining the staff as an assistant coach in 2019. And we have Coach Ulrich Maligi. Mally. I'm much better at this with a teleprompter. I'm sorry, Coach. And he is, get this right, head coach, Kansas State Wildcats. Associate. I'm going to get it right. Okay, those are our trio of coaches up next.
All right, so obviously I had a script, but everybody's saying the same things. Seriously, I saw Amir's success as a father. You could tell by his kids. I saw his success as a husband. You can look at his wife, strong, courageous, and loyal. I saw his success at being a man of faith. I think you all heard him say, "To God be the glory." But this is where I venture off. I see his success as a coach by seeing those last two guys get up here. Everybody will look at the championships, the wins, the losses. They'll look at all of that. But I saw a shy kid that did get cussed out, but he didn't want to talk at all. So Jaden Reed, have a talk with him before you leave. Terrell Burton has made a change, guys, that you rarely see in basketball. Super shy, did not want to talk. And that guy stood in front of you today. That's coaching. Brandon Stroud was a class clown when he got here. Brandon Stroud is doing such a great job of leading this basketball team right now. And I couldn't be more proud of him. That's coaching, guys. That's coaching. Other than that, we're all going to say the same thing. It was my brother. So, look, I'm in that fight, too. But that's my mom right there. I can tell you that. That's my mom. That's a bonus mom. That's my mom. But just speaking from the heart, guys, this is tough. Because he hated when I called him boss. And I did it on purpose to pick at him. But he was my brother. He was my brother. There'll be a hole in his heart for a long time, I can promise you that. But the one thing I can promise you, that every time that I step foot on that floor, it will be for him and only him. I promise you. I promise, because he would do the same for me. He would do the same for me. Ari, love you to death. You know that. Layla, Lana, Aiden. And where's Aiden? Let him know we'll finish our fight after this too. But I got you guys. Lana, you can join in if you want. I love you guys. Thank you.
Man, I was going to use that paper. I'm kind of just going to wing it. My wife probably mad at me. Man, Amir called me his brother. He's like, dog, man, you my brother. Right? And The hardest part has been talking to everybody, trying to check in and check on different people and check on me. But the truth of the matter is, man, Amir treated everybody like his brother. Mom, I hate to tell you this, you got about 300 people in here. You talking about 2 more, it's about 300 in here, brothers and sisters alike. The stories that I would get, like, man, he stayed on the phone with me while I drove 2 hours to get back from a recruiting. The stories that I would get, they would tell me. And it's like, he's just not my brother. We shared them with everybody in here. And the reason, I don't even know how he had time to coach. Some of these people were like, I owe my career to him. I owe my life to him. I owe my marriage to him. I'm one of them. I'm just one of them. I'm one of many. Like, I don't know how I'm standing up here right now. I really don't. The second day was harder than the first day. And the third day might be the worst. But I just know that I miss my brother. And I know everybody in here, they miss their brother. The reason he was able to do it, he's the only dude I've ever met, man, that said, I love you. Like, and that was, I mean, man, I'm a dude, I'm from Columbus, Georgia. Like, come on, Mir. We're not gonna do that. But he said, nah, dog, I love you. And the reason I challenge you, the reason I coach you hard is because I love you. Other people who didn't know him, they always ask, what's Amir's secret sauce? What is it? Man, that dude coached with love. He was able to coach you hard because he loved you. He had the biggest heart I know. Man, that's all I got.
Wow, what a great celebration of life. Amir was a brother to so many of us, including myself, but to the family that I've gotten a chance to meet, and you all embraced me, thank you. To the family that I hadn't got a chance to meet yet, I look forward to building real relationships with you, like I had with my brother. Ari, we love you, and we all got your back. But most importantly, like I tell you all the time, man, God can do all things, not some things. He can do all things. And we pray for strength for all of us. But, condolences to the family, man. We really, from the bottom of our hearts, man, we pray for condolences. Always want to send our condolences. This is tough. To know Amir was to love Amir. And I got a chance to talk to him one last time the night before he passed. We never practiced that night. We had media day, so we practiced that night, but I've been trying to call him 5 days in a row. I couldn't get a hold of him. And I'm like, man, that ain't like my boy. Like, we talk every other day. Like, I don't bug him about what's going on, but I just want to hear his voice. So I called Ari. I said, Ari, where you at? Like, I need to talk to my boy. So she said, I don't know why you not answering the phone. He right here. You want me to put him? Yeah, put him on the phone. Let me talk to him. I said, man, why you docking my calls? He said, man, you ain't called me. I said, man, I called you, man. I've called you 5 days in a row. Swear to God. Well, I've been reading the Bible, man. I just found out you're not supposed to swear to God. Like, that's what it says. But I promise. He said, well, man, like, I know you've been inconsistent with your spiritual walk, man. Like, over the years, man. But like, where are you at right now? This is the night before he passed, guys. Where you at with your spiritual walk? I said, man, you be so proud of me, man. Be so proud of me. He said, well, man, I want to get some rest, man. But I promise, man, I'm gonna hit you tomorrow. I love you. I said, man, I love you too, man. And that was it. But what I know is that our brother will want us, he will want me to share with you all to love your family members, love your friends. You know, in the last 5 years, I've lost two of my closest friends, my dad and Amir, guys that I got a chance to talk to every single day. And we all are on borrowed time. All are on borrowed time, man. I'm just so thankful that God allowed me to have an opportunity to know him. I'm just so thankful that I got a chance to spend that time. I don't want to go the other way. Yeah, of course, he was 43 years young, but I'm just thankful God allowed us to know who he really was. And may his legacy live on forever. And the last thing I want to say is, like, you know, people have said it, but I wouldn't be the man that I am today without him. Everybody gonna talk about him as a basketball coach, and yeah, he was a winner, but he was a winner in life. You know, he was a life coach. He was a relationship coach. And I learned more from him than anybody else I've gotten a chance to work with or work for in my 18, 19 years. And I've been extremely blessed. So may God bless you all. May his name live forever. All these coaches that are in here, I really encourage you all to join me in making sure that his name lives on forever. We all have great platforms, and man, I know he's just smiling down, man, right now. His ability to be able to galvanize this community and the Tampa community and give hope, man, was inspiring to people all around the world, and we will love him forever.
Thank you so much, and I was remiss in getting Coach Gates up. He is the coach, head coach of the Missouri Tigers. Come on, Coach.
Don't you keep any time. What a time, what a day. What a time, what a day. We are not here to just talk and focus on his coaching. I will say that. Nor his accomplishments. We are here to talk about the life of a great man, a great dude. So with all your heart, okay, all your heart, everybody please follow me on this one. Let this be the loudest. Let this be the most enthusiastic. Let this be the most authentic. Get on your feet. Everybody get on your feet. Give one lasting round of applause for Amir Abdur-Rahim. See, we did that. We did that when he cut down nets. When he held up trophies, when we saw the confetti, we did just that. But did we do it for his life? Because this is a celebration of life. Please have a seat. So when I say what a time, everyone, you gotta repeat, what a day. What a time. As we celebrate Amir's life, 5.5 years ago, we both became head coaches in the same cycle. We were in the same cohort, so to speak. In this very gym, this very place, his dreams came true. His dreams came true. And we were all protectors of his dream. We held him accountable. We did certain things to make sure we pushed him along, gave him positive encouragement. But this is where his dream came true. The first words at his press conference were, What a time. What a day. That's the very first words. He got to the mic. What a time. What a day. What a day. Amir lived and led with truth. Last month we sat together. Before eating lunch, I asked him as he completed a prayer, "What are you thankful for, Amir?" I said. He mentioned his wife, Ari. That's who he mentioned. And he shared with me the very first conversation. I'm not going into detail. No, I'm not. Nope, not me. I was floored with the details and the tone of how he described their love, how he described it. I was floored. Now, this was the 100th time I've heard the story now, the 100th time that I heard the story. And I said, "Amir, is she a superhero? Is she a Marvel character?" He said, "Yep." He said, "Yep." He continued to speak about her unwavering support, her level of protection over him when he needed her most or needed it most. He spoke about your strength. Your strength. He spoke about it. And he talked about that strength and how that strength you use to mother his children. Wow. I just began to eat, and I said, what a time. What a day. What a day. To be great in our careers, we got to be absent from our home. We got to be absent. We have to be absent from our home. He had joy in not only taking the kids to school, but helping them get dressed. That's all he wanted to do. That's all he wanted to do. Nothing, absolutely nothing could take that away from him, unless it would be the place where we all must return. That's it. One by one, he talked about each little one. In this conversation, I heard unbelievable strength that he received individually from his children, each one. And that is what we heard in all the stories and all the accomplishments come to fruition. That's what we heard, the strength. What a time. Come on, give me some more energy. What a time. What a day, absolutely. Big Brother Reef, he shared with me the story, that one story of how you finally allowed him, the pestering little brother, to go to the park with you and play basketball. You invited him under one condition. If anything got in his way, or he didn't show up, you wouldn't let him hoop with you again. Well, Amir found out your definition of playing basketball was actually you training. You wasn't playing, you were training. Drill after drill, tirelessly, relentlessly working. He said, D. Gates, he said, Big Bro was obsessed. Then the day came, Reef, where you warned me, Amir, if you leave, I'm not letting you come back. He said, yeah, right, like a little brother would. That one day became his last day at the park. It became the last day, but it was the first day that seed was planted of him becoming an everyday dude. An everyday dude. We got his former players, current players here. You know what it meant to him to be an everyday dude. He got that from Big Bro. That lesson he got from Big Bro. He talked about his siblings, their love and support for him. He mentioned how thankful he was for each. As first-year coaches, we would often stay on the phone late nights, First-year coaches, me at Cleveland State, he here at Kennesaw, our wives. Who you talking to? Well, I'm on the phone with Amir and a couple of other our first-year coaches out in the profession. It was about 18, 19 of us every Sunday on a Zoom till 1, 2 a.m. They're all out there listening. Shaheen Holloway is right over there. Late nights. Well, we all discuss our concerns as head coaches. Not only just the pressures of winning games, but those fans, getting fans in the seats. He said, I got a solution, Gates. He said, Cleveland State versus Kennesaw. He said, one of us will win. He also said, no matter where the location was, he could guarantee the crowd. I said, what, you a promoter, man? He said, no matter the location, he could guarantee the crowd. 12, 13, he said, will fill up a quarter of the arena. I said, Amir, how does that help me, bro? He said this. He said it doesn't. Just know you'll be losing to a friend. What a time. He shared his thanks for his parents. He shared his thanks for you, Ma. He definitely shared it. So let us honor Amir's legacy with respect. It's not about how or why he was called to return so soon. It's about the time he gave each and every last one of us, because he gave us his time. And more importantly, it's about how he lived his life. I can no longer call Amir. We can no longer call Amir. I can't call him for the advice, the conversation, but I will dial up my many memories from time to time. I encourage you to do the same. Our Sunday night Zooms will not be the same. It won't be the same. So time to time, Ari, I'm going to call you and the family, and we're going to Zoom you. We're going to Zoom you and get you guys there. I will always remember the many times and the many days he told me love wins. He told us all love wins. But he told us about the memories. The memories of what a time and the memories of what a day. What a time. Thank you, guys. God bless.
Thank you so much, Coach Gates. All right, I want you guys to all stand one more time, and I want you to show your love, because coming up next to talk about the amazing person that we are here celebrating right now is big brother Sharif Abdur-Rahim and his beautiful bride, Ari. Come on up. Let's show them we love them and we are here for them. A thundering round of applause, please. You can do better. You can do better. You can do better. This takes a lot for them to come up here. So please show them that we appreciate them sharing him with us.
Let's start with God's name, the most gracious, the most merciful. President Sway, I told you I saw you upstairs. My brother just absolutely loved you. I mean, and you and I, this is our first time, we met. Just thank you. And he talked about you. He loved you, your support. Milton, again, thank you. You gave Amir his opportunity. Thank you for hosting us. Mike, South Florida family contingent, all of you that have come and been here all day. Lee, thank you. The love, the care that you show my brother, show my family, show my sister. Thank you. Mel Clemens and his family, thank you guys. You guys embraced my brother, embraced my sister here. We love you guys. Terrell, Brandon, Joe, CY, Kaysen, Pryor, all of his players. Amir loves you guys. He'd be so proud of you. Terrell, Brandon, you can't even know it. I'm gonna say, really quick. I'm gonna get out because Ari should speak. Amir is the namesake of Prince George. Prince George was our paternal grandfather. So in Arabic, Amir means prince, right? And if you go to some regions of the world, some customs, right? If you go find the leader, right? You go find the person that is in charge of community, of bringing people together, taking care of people. Y'all don't stand, please. But I'm sorry. But if you find that person, right? That person is the Amir, right? You go somewhere and that's their custom. That person is known as the Amir. And as I, just sit and listen to the stories of his life, really, because what you saw is people from the time he was, really young and to now. He cultivated community. He took care of people. He cared about people. Coach Cream talked about his vision. The thing I'd add to that is a vision with the courage to include other people, right? A lot of times we want to do well and we have a vision for what we want to do, but we're scared to include other people because we think they might take it from us or they might take the shine. He had the courage to include other people. And everywhere he went, he touched people, loved people, and we'll miss the physical part of being with Amir. My plan this weekend was that I was supposed to spend a couple of days here, and then I was going to spend Saturday night, Sunday with him, and things changed. But we're just so thankful and blessed that we had such a great Amir, and what he meant to us. Last I said this to the team earlier in the week. I said it this morning, and I just remind us of this because it's what's really important and what he would say. That you've heard it now that in any situation he was in, when he won games, won Coach of the Year, anything happened, to God be the glory. And I've said that if you hadn't heard me say this, and this is truly what we were taught, what our father taught us, what our mother taught us, what our imams taught us. That when we were saying that, what we were saying is that God is greater. So as much as we're hurting, as hard as this situation is, God is greater. And God had a plan. He has a plan for us. He has a plan for Amir. We'll miss the physical part of Amir, but in everything that you heard about my brother, the caring person he was, the leader he was,
how he shared with people, loved people, took care of his family, took care of our mother. Man, he called me like, hey man, call mama, man. She said, you ain't called her. You know, like for real. He's like, hey man, you called mama. She said she ain't heard from you. So I mean, he's just a beautiful, beautiful person. And this is my last thing. And this, as a big brother, man. After the whatever, it was April, May, March, the team just won the A-Sun. And they, played in the, going to the tournament. They were going to the tournament. And the big news here in the city, it was we were the only team in the city that was going to the tournament, KSU. And, I come back and forth through Atlanta, and I get here and I go to, I never forget, I go to Avis to get my rental car, and I give the lady at the desk my ID, and she reads my name and she says Abdur-Rahim. I said yes. She said, like the coach. I said yes. That's my brother. She said no, you're his brother. And to have your brother, your younger brother, with you, and you trying to teach them and grow up, and they kind of grow up in your shadow, and see them grow to a point where they're leading and they establish themselves. There's nothing better than that. It isn't. So, thank you all for your love for Amir, as he would say, to God be the glory.
Thank you so much. All right, Ari.
I'm gonna make this real quick. We know Coach Amir was a great coach, a great motivator, and a great man. But he created a second career that he wasn't so great at as a singer. So I don't know if y'all remember all the songs he would do every day to this woman he loved. He would make songs on Instagram all the time. And then he quit. He said, Mel, I'm quitting because until she makes me one, I ain't singing no more. So real quick, I'm the only worse singer than Amir. So I got something that the Spirit told me he wanted me to send to her.
I found love in you. And I've learned to love me too.
I think his mother would appreciate this, the love he had for her.
Never have I felt.
We know how much we loved him. But he loved each and every one of us every day. That's why we're here. And he loved this woman behind
Our
him.
hearts have intertwined into the perfect harmony. This is why I love you. Ooh, this is why I love you. Because you love me. You love me. This is why I love you. Ooh, this is why I love you. Because you love me. You love me.
We love you, Amir.
My daughter's telling me not to cry. I will try. And also, I was only 25. That story that happened earlier, so just Put that out there. As hard as it is to stand here right now with my heart shattered in pieces, Amir would have wanted me to thank each and every one of you for all the calls, the texts, the prayers, and your showing of support. It's just who he was. He was a person that you could ask how he was doing, and all you'll get initially was, "I'm fine." Meanwhile, he would have gotten you to tell your whole life story and somehow find the perfect thing to say in response. Amir truly cared about how he made people feel. He wanted to make people feel their happiest, their most complete, and help them to reach their full potential. Thank you to KSU for hosting this moment. A moment I wish I never occurred, as I want my best friend back. But an honor that I know my husband would have been very appreciative of. Thank you to KSU and thank you to USF for choosing my beautiful husband to lead your programs. He was honored to do so. And he never fully rested unless the product, both off and on the court, was pleasing to him and everyone around him. Thank you to the coaches who poured into him, whether it was when he was a young player, the first coach being his own father, whether it was when he was in high school or as a college student, or when he began his career. Thank you to every person who helped him build his talent as a young coach, because it helped him show the world that this truly is bigger than basketball. Thank you to each and every soul who helped him build these programs. As you saw in that clip earlier, he never took the credit. It was a team effort, albeit the president or the janitor and everyone in between. He showed them respect and thanks for everything they contributed to his success. Because it wasn't his success, it was always a collective success. Thank you to everyone who played a part in his professional life, but most of all, to his players, past and most certainly present. He loved you with everything in him. He always wanted more out of you, but that's because he always just wanted to pull greatness out of you. It was his greatest joy to leave any place, anything, any person better than the way he found it. God gave us the plays through Amir in how he lived his life by always pouring into others. He may be gone now, but we can still run those plays in the way that we live our lives. Sadly, my beautiful children will never experience him as an adult. But you have. As a gift to honor my husband, I'm asking you to please use the QR code. I don't know where it is, but there's a QR code. And please share your fondest memories of Amir. I will then share your memories with my children as they grow. And maybe, just maybe, we can accomplish another goal collectively of letting them know who their father was. And maybe, just maybe, we can comfort them on the days that they're low. And maybe, just maybe, they'll hurt a little less. Amir often said, "Job not finished." Well, I am confident that when he entered heaven's gates, he was told, "Job well done." Thank you.
Share that QR code, please. Make a difference. The Future Foundation, which the family plays a crucial role in their success as well, so it will help so many people, please. Would like to now bring up Imam Al-Amin as we start to wrap things up. You may be seated.
Once again, we thank the family for bringing our brother back here to Atlanta. You know, as Muslims, we do everything we can to avoid embalming. We want the burial to be as natural as possible. It's really a green burial. And to bring his remains from Tampa to here to have his burial and then to have a memorial. We're talking about in 3 days. He passed Thursday. This is just Sunday. 3 days. It took a lot of people and a lot of determination, and we thank, all of us should thank Arya and the family for allowing us to have this moment here in Atlanta. And we remind us to balance our grief with the gratitude of having known Amir and experienced so much from him. We thank the family for giving him his last washing, oiling, perfuming his body, and shrouding it in simple wraps and placing his body in the ground, back in the earth. This is a blessing that you will remember for the rest of your lives, but it's a blessing and a gift that we owed to Amir. The prophet said 3 things will continue for him that we do here that will raise his status in the paradise. Any knowledge that he taught any of us, and all these players and everything, you probably have learned so much from Amir. Any knowledge that he's taught any of you, and you use it for good, every time you do, it raises his status in the paradise. Any charity that he gave you, and you still utilize that chair or still benefit or pass it on, every time it raises his status in the paradise. And to all of his offspring and his siblings, and every time you mention him in a prayer, it raises his status in the paradise. I will have to add one thing. You know, commentators at basketball games, they always talk about, I wonder what the coach is saying at halftime. Now we know a whole lot. Coaches are always saying a whole lot. We appreciate everything that players, coaches, and everybody who has come forth and said. One of the coaches used Maya Angelou. It brought to mind that actually when I eulogized Amir's father, Imam William Abdur-Rahim. And Abdur-Rahim, the name Abdur-Rahim, we know Amir's prince. Abdur-Rahim is the servant of the merciful God. When I eulogized Imam William Abdur-Rahim, Maya Angelou's quote came to mind, or poem came to mind, which really relates to Amir as well. Because a great oak within the rainforest of freedom, justice, integrity, and dignity has fallen, and Maya Angelou penned, when great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Lions hunker down in the tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, and sterile. We breathe briefly. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces filled with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, but never to be the same. They whisper to us, he existed. He existed. We can be better, for he existed. Let us pray. Oh God, we thank you for this afternoon of reflection and the outpouring of love. We thank you for sharing with us the special life and soul of Amir Abdur-Rahim. We ask, oh God, help us to always remember his smile, his humor, his laugh, his intellect, his voice, his work, his honesty, his support, his compassion, his consistency, his committed service and integrity, and his love. We ask that you leave no sin of his unforgiven, no anxiety of his unrelieved, no righteous desire of his unfulfilled. Absolve him, preserve him, befriend him, and reward him. O God, highly glorified are you. We ask that you befriend him on the other side as he befriended us here. Expand his smile, deepen his laughter, illuminate that light in his eyes, quench his thirst for knowledge, satisfy his hunger for righteousness and justice. Bless this very special soul, and bless his family, his wife. Bless her to be resilient as she's always been. Bless his daughters and his sons. Oh God, we ask that they always remember him in their prayers. And now we ask, whoever of us you cause to die, let us die as believers. And whoever of us you cause to live, let us live as believers. Bless our young and our old and our males and our females, those present and those absent. Lay not on us a burden greater than we have the strength to bear. Fortify us, sustain us, forgive us, and bless us to always remember Amir Abdur-Rahim and give him the best of paradise. He is our forerunner. We are at his heels. We pray that our entrance into this place has been by the gate of truth and honor, and now make our exit by the gate of truth and honor, and bless us to remember our brother, and let us always smile when we think of his life, and let that smile raise his status in the paradise. Amen. 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 Thank you.
Imam Plumman, Al-Amin, thank you so very much. I want to thank all of you for coming. We have a very special video presentation from Kennesaw State University you're about to see. Please allow the family to process out. You can see them after the ceremony, but they are going to process out while we're watching the video. Remember to show them your love as they need it at this time.
Winning isn't easy, but it's worth it. All right? Like I said to y'all in that last huddle, man. All right? He ain't gonna never put on us more than we can handle. We understand that? Yes, sir. It's not an easy thing doing what we do. All right? It's not an easy thing to get 16 guys bought in to the same goal, right? Especially when, you know, we all have it. Like myself, Coach, we all have individual goals. We all have individual things that we want to get done, that we want to do. But when we talked about doing something special and that it was going to take everybody, right, and it was going to take everybody being on the same page, man, we could have easily had guys go their separate ways, do their own thing. We could have easily had guys say, oh, yeah, and then do their own thing, right? But to get you guys buying in to what we asked you to do, to what the vision was, not only this year, man, but 4 years ago, man, I just thank you guys, all right? I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Guys, we put up here on the board, right here, at the beginning of the game, we said, love wins. Guys, we've said it since January. We are not going to let someone put an expectation on us, or a standard on us, or a result on us that defines our success. Fellas, we won because you guys loved each other. We won because you committed to each other. We won because when times got hard, man, y'all dudes ain't back down. These tears of joy, dog. These are tears of joy right here. I ain't disappointed one bit. We left everything out there. Everything. And man, I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Man, I love you guys because you loved each other. You loved us, you loved me, you loved Fletch. On down the line. That ain't no loss for us, man. That ain't no loss. Man, I'm so proud of y'all dudes, man, because you loved each other. People don't do that. They don't make that commitment because they don't want to be disappointed. Fellas, you on the bright side of this day right here, man, all of us gonna be stronger from it.